One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is understanding that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control our reactions. Disrespect, by its very nature, is an action taken by someone else. How you react to this disrespect, however, is entirely in your control. Epictetus famously said, "We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." In other words, the disrespect you receive is not inherently damaging. What damages you is how you allow it to affect you. Instead of allowing anger or frustration to take hold, pause and reflect. Respond with equanimity and remember that your inner peace depends on how you choose to interpret external events. The first step is recognizing that you always have a choice in how you respond. Stoic action. The next time you are disrespected, take a deep breath, count to 3, and ask yourself, what is in my power to control right now? Act from a place of calm and rationality. The dichotomy of control is one of the core teachings of Stoicism. It divides life into two categories: things you can control and things you cannot control. Disrespect falls into the latter category. How others behave is out of your hands. But your response, that's in your control. You cannot force someone to respect you, but you can choose how to carry yourself when they don't. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Stoic action. The next time you feel disrespected, remind yourself of the dichotomy of control. Focus solely on your own behavior and thoughts. Your actions, mindset, and integrity are all within your power to shape. Often, when we face disrespect, it can be tempting to view the person as the enemy. We react defensively, seeking to retaliate or shut them down. However, Stoicism teaches us to consider the bigger picture and look beyond the surface of the disrespect. The Stoics advocated for empathy, understanding that everyone has their own struggles, pain, and stories that influence their behavior. Before reacting with anger, ask yourself, what might have caused this person to act in such a way? Could there be an underlying issue that's influencing their actions? Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Empathy allows us to transcend the conflict and see the humanity in others. Stoic action. When confronted with disrespect, pause and consider the person's perspective. Try to understand their motivations, even if you don't agree with their approach. This shift in perspective will help you respond with greater wisdom and composure. Instead of allowing disrespect to consume your thoughts, use it as an opportunity for self. What does this situation reveal about you? Do you have any triggers that the disrespect brings up? Are you too attached to how others perceive you? Epictetus advises us to examine our own reactions. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Disrespect can be a powerful mirror, reflecting areas of your own character that you may need to strengthen or develop. Stoic action. The next time you're disrespected, instead of jumping to conclusions about the other person, take a moment to reflect. What does this situation teach you about your own values, boundaries, and emotional resilience? Stoicism teaches us that the opinions of others should not govern our behavior. Your value is not determined by how others treat you, but by how you treat yourself and others. Even when disrespected, hold steadfast to your integrity. Marcus Aurelius writes in Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Don't allow disrespect to make you abandon your virtues. Maintain your composure, uphold your values, and choose the high road." Stoic action. In the face of disrespect, remind yourself of your core values. Resist the urge to respond in a way that diminishes your character. Respond in a manner that reflects your highest virtues: wisdom, courage, and fairness. The Stoics understood that external validation is an unreliable source of peace. When we seek approval or respect from others, we place our happiness in their hands. Respect, then, becomes a powerful threat to our sense of self-worth. The Stoic ideal is to cultivate an inner sense of validation, self-respect, that comes from within. If you can stand firm in your own dignity, then the disrespect of others will no longer have the power to unsettle you. Stoic action. Take a moment to affirm your own worth, independent of anyone else's opinions. Remind yourself that your value does not depend on the approval of others. Disrespect often feels personal, but in reality, it rarely has anything to do with you. People act out of their own unresolved issues, biases, or frustrations. When you understand that their actions are a reflection of their state, not a judgment of yours, it becomes easier to detach emotionally. Epictetus says, "Men are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." Learn not to internalize the disrespect. It is not an attack on your character, but rather an expression of their own. Stoic action. When confronted with disrespect, mentally distance yourself from the situation. Remind yourself that it's not about you, it's about their internal state. This mental shift will help you preserve your emotional resilience. Retaliation often escalates conflict and makes the situation worse. The Stoic response to disrespect is not necessarily to engage in a verbal battle, but to choose silence and restraint. Seneca wrote, It is the sign of a great mind to overlook an insult. Rather than responding in kind, hold back and let the disrespect pass. In doing so, you display the highest form of strength, self-control, stoic action. The next time you face disrespect, resist the urge to retaliate with words. Opt for silence and allow the situation to diffuse. This act of restraint will build your character and give you more power than any verbal response. The Stoics saw challenges as opportunities for growth. Disrespect, rather than being a mere negative event, can serve as a test of your character. How well can you maintain your virtues in the face of adversity? Can you rise above the situation and remain true to yourself? Remember, the Stoics believed that we are defined not by the events that happen to us, but by how we respond to them. A disrespectful situation is a chance to show your commitment to wisdom, patience, and calm. Stoic action. When disrespected, see it as an opportunity to practice patience and fortitude. Each moment of disrespect is a chance to grow stronger in your Stoic practice. Forgiveness is not an act of kindness toward the person who disrespected you. Rather, it's a gift to yourself. Holding on to anger, resentment, or grudges poisons your own peace of mind. Marcus Aurelius teaches us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. By forgiving, you release yourself from the weight of resentment and free yourself to move forward. Stoic action. After facing disrespect, practice forgiveness. Let go of any lingering negative feelings. This doesn't mean excusing the behavior, but it does mean freeing yourself from its hold over you. Disrespect is inevitable in life, but how we respond to it is a matter of choice. Through the teachings of Stoicism, we learn that we can turn these challenging moments into opportunities for growth by applying the lessons of control, empathy, integrity, and resilience. We can handle disrespect with wisdom, poise, and strength.